Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the St. Mark's Kids Chat. Our lesson for today comes to us from Mark chapter 6, verses 45 through 56, and it's about when Jesus walks on water and heals the sick. Amazing, right? Okay, so this happened right after the lesson that we just actually learned last week, which is when Jesus fed the 5,000. Remember when that happened, right? Okay. So right after that happened, Jesus put all of his disciples onto a boat and said that he wanted them to go ahead of him onto Bethsaida, and he dismissed the crowd, that big giant crowd of 5,000 people, remember? Okay, so he dismissed the crowd, and then Jesus decided that he was going to go walk up to a mountainside and he was going to pray. And then later on that night, when the disciples were still on that boat, he saw them out in the middle of the lake, and he could see that it said in the Bible, it said that their oars they were straining with their oars. You know what oars are?
Yeah,
those little things that
the little sticks at the end of the boat that helps you go forward.
That helps you move the boat, right? Because the wind was picking up and they were going against the wind and they were getting really tired, and so Jesus decided to walk out onto the lake. And guess what the disciples said? Do you think they were kind of freaked out?
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually thought that he was a ghost. Because have you ever seen anybody walk on water before? I haven't seen anybody walk on water before. It would be pretty amazing to see, right? And they were actually really terrified. And so to calm their fears, he spoke to them and said, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." So Jesus was calming their fears. Have you ever been afraid about something before? Yeah, I've been afraid about something before too. And so Jesus knew in their hearts, Jesus knew what was going on inside of their minds and inside of their hearts, and that they were scared and they're like, whoa, this guy's walking on water, what is going on, right? So they cried out, and he actually climbed inside of the boat with them, and all of the wind died down. Isn't that amazing? Pretty amazing, right? So and they were just totally amazed. It was just, they didn't actually understand what was going on, because it said in the Bible that they were completely amazed, for they had not understood about the loaves of bread, and their hearts were hardened, okay? So they just didn't quite understand just how amazing Jesus was in that moment. You know, last week when we were speaking about how Jesus fed the 5,000, it said that their hearts were hardened and they just didn't quite understand. So Jesus, with just how amazing he is, gave another example of just how powerful he was, right? To be able to walk on water? Yeah. All right, so we have another little demonstration. Why don't you guys come and have a seat, and we'll bring this down here and you guys can take a look. All right, so we have just a little bowl of water right here. You can sit right here, Max, if you'd like. Okay, all right, so let me ask you something. I'm gonna take this paper clip right here. What do you think is gonna happen if I drop the paper clip in the water?
Sink.
It's gonna sink, right? All right, so let's push this a little bit closer so everyone can see. 1, 2, 3, look over here, Max, watch. What happens?
Sink.
Did it sink down to the bottom? Let's show everybody. It's there at the bottom. See it? It's right at the bottom. All right. Now, so that's what they were expecting, right? They were expecting Jesus to sink on the water. But was he sinking? He wasn't. No, he is all powerful. So watch this. So do you think I can get this paper clip to float on the water?
No.
No?
It's just kind of like, I think it's like the same thing that would happen like 5 seconds
All right.
ago.
So what I'm going to do, when it's Jesus, I'm going to take this other paper clip and I kind of untwist it a little bit like this. And I'm going to rest this other paper clip on top of it like this. And now watch. As I set it into the water, what happened? It's floating. I'm going to hold it up here so that everybody at home can kind of see that paper clip is floating on top of the water, but yet the other one is sunk to the bottom. That was pretty amazing, right? So there are situations where we just don't understand. We're like, how in the world is that paper clip floating on there when the other one is down at the bottom, right? So Jesus, with his amazing ways, is able to do things that we just don't understand, right? But how amazing was it that he actually went out and calmed their fears, right? Because they were totally freaked out, right? The wind was blowing. They couldn't, their oars, they were getting tired pushing, with their oars in the water. And Jesus came in there and got in the boat with them, and the wind calmed down. So it reminds us that when we invite Jesus into our boat, like meaning our life, right? He can calm the storms that are going on in our life too, right? If we can invite him in. And it gives him an opportunity to show just how powerful he is, just like how, this paperclip's floating on the water, which is pretty amazing, right? And later in the story, it actually said that once they got to their destination, once they were out of their boat and they had landed on land, a bunch of people had recognized that Jesus was actually out there. And they were like, oh my goodness, they heard about all these amazing things that he had done. And so they went around all to the whole region, and they brought all of their sick people from every village and every town and every countryside, anywhere that Jesus went. And they placed the sick in these marketplaces, all these sick people, and they begged to let them touch even the edge of his cloak. So touch the edge of my shirt like this. So every time that those people touched his cloak, they would be healed. And so does that show that Jesus has compassion for people? Yeah. And that can he heal the sick? Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys this little Band-Aid. What does this Band-Aid say?
Jesus heals.
Jesus heals. So I'm going to give you guys each this Band-Aid. Put your arm out, Maxie.
I do actually have a scratch.
You have a, oh, you do have a scratch? Okay. Well, why don't you put it on your arm so everybody at home can kind of see it? Okay. So I'm going to put this one on your arm so that they can see. Show them what it says. Again, Jesus heals. Here, Sawyer, I'll put the other one out here too. I want you guys to wear this to remind yourselves that Jesus is all powerful and that Jesus heals. We are so grateful for his loving compassion for all of us. All right, everybody, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.